Om Vagarta viva sampraktau Vagarta pratipattaye Jagada pitarau vande Parvati parameshwarau Vasudeva sutam devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki paramanandam Krishnam vande jagadgurum Yasmat jatam jagat sarvam Yasminneva praliyate Yenedam dharyate chaiva Tasmai jnanatmane namaha Ishvaro gururatmeti Murti beda vibhagine Vyomavat vyapta dehaya Dakshinamurtaye namaha Sada Shiva samarambham Shankaracharya madhyamam Asmadacharya paryantam Vande Guru paramparam Ajnanam Janavitirtam Vidyatirtam Vivekinam Sarvesham Sukadam Tirtam Bharati Tirtamashraye Vidya Vinaya Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvajnam Vidhushekara Bharatim Harihi Om. So today is a very auspicious day. It's a very auspicious occasion because we have come here to remember somebody who was born more than 1300 years back. Not mere remembrance, but devotion and respect for someone who lived 1300 years back. Such a person must be an Avatara Purusha, otherwise we will not. You and I will never be remembered long after we are gone. If somebody is remembered after 1500 years and the whole of the length and breadth of the country, such programs are organized, that talks about that the Vaisishtyam of that person. So for the next 1 hour, we will deeply contemplate, deeply think about this Mahan Purusha. Guru Nam Guruhu, he is the Adi Guru for everybody in this country. He is the intellectual giant Mother India has produced ever in its history. So we have come together to think about such a great Avatara Purusha. I am not going to talk about his story. Every one of us know the story. I am not going to talk about his childhood or his parentage or how he got sannyasa, what all happened. I think the time is very valuable. We should not waste time like that. We all know that story. So I am not going to tell any of those today, or not even his Kailasa Avarohanam at the age of 32. None of that. We all know that story. So we don't have to spend time on that. What I am going to do is to say, why is Shankaracharya important today? Why did so many of us, 50 of us have come here? Why is Shankaracharya relevant today as much as he was relevant 1300 years back? I think that is of value for us. That is what I am going to do. And how knowing about Shankaracharya, not the story, in terms of what he has done, what he has contributed to the society 1300 years back, can be a margadarshanam for us. This is the speciality of this Avatara Purusha. 1300 years back he said something, it makes enormous sense for today. Because people say all this old wisdom is all for old, we have changed, computers have come, mobile has come, so the world has changed. The world has changed only on the surface. There are certain things which will never change. For example, every individual, every prani, every sakala jiva rashi, not even human beings, sakala jiva rashi's goal is to be happy. That will not change. Whether you bring computer or don't bring computer doesn't matter. We have only one pursuit in our life. How can I be happy? How can that happiness be with me all the time? Not half an hour happiness, 20 minutes happiness and again sorrow. This is the goal. 10 million years later, if we are born again, we will go through the same question only. So that questions have not changed. Human nature has not changed. The gadgets have changed. We have light. 100 years back there may be an oil lamp. Those things have changed. Outside ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ change ಆಗಿದೆ. But the question that we have, the goal of our life, that will never change. So Shankaracharya did not talk about electricity or force of gravity, because then it is of no use. Because computer knowledge after 200 years probably would go waste. Something else will come. He talked about these issues. He talked about what every individual wants to do in life, what every individual strives to be. That question badal agude illa adu. Always we will have that question with us, and that is why he is relevant today, and he will be relevant any number of years later also. Now I was just thinking about what should I speak for an hour. Should I simply come and then utter some 1 dozen shlokas and to show you that I also know some shlokas, or should I do something? Think about how do we bring something more than that. So as I thought about it again and again, I found 3 very unique dimensions of Shankaracharya. There are 3 aspects of Shankaracharya which appeal to me. I thought I will talk about it. One is what we call as karma and bhakti and jnana. In these I have taken the lens of karma and looked at Shankaracharya in terms of some of the few shlokas that will help us. I have taken a lens of jnana and said, whatever Shankaracharya has done, we need probably some 1,000 hours to talk. So in 1 hour we can touch the tip of the iceberg in the English Bhashanelli ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ. That's all we can do. Then the third lens is bhakti. So I have taken these 3 lenses, and through that lens I wanted to understand Shankaracharya. I wanted to share with you what I found. First of all, there is a lot of misconception today in the society. Lots of misconception. Ancient Indian wisdom is of no use. ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಇದೆ. ಏನ್ಷಿಯನ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ವಿಸ್ಡಮ್ಗೆ ಈಗ ಏನು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು 1000 years ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಯೋಜನ ಇತ್ತು. Today we are all this is one misconception. Like that there are many misconceptions. One of the misconception is a sadhu. Shankaracharya is a sannyasi. A sannyasi will give up everything. So to that extent life is very interesting. You have to just sit and people will come and see you, because that part of sannyasi only we have seen. That is why we have this wrong idea. Sannyasi andre avರೆಲ್ಲ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ. He will give up everything and that's it. But the first thing I found was Shankaracharya in 32 years. He lived only 32 years, which we all know. In 32 years, the relentless work he has done for the society, none of the most active people today can come anywhere near that. Very simple. He may be a sannyasi, but he was actively part of the society. So he was a karma yogi. Karmanyeva adhikarahate ma paleshu kadachana ma karma pala hetur buhu. Finally, what did he say? Mate sangastu akarmani. In the sangha, in the society, we cannot sit without doing work. That applies to everyone. Adu ella ashramake adu untu. Adu brahmacharya irli, adu grihastha irli, adu yavadadu irli. Sannyashram kuda adu untu. So he was never sitting idle. He was not at all sitting and then like that. So what are all the things? He was relentlessly working in like a pure karma yogi with absolute selflessness. Whatever he has done, I don't think he has any prayojana. The society was benefited. Relentlessly working, tirelessly working. Think about this possibility. Traveling through the breadth and length of the country in about 10 years, 3 times. Today with vehicle we will not be able to go. He has gone by walk. And why did he travel? We merely think he is traveling. He traveled, the first time when he traveled through the length and breadth of the country, he made an assessment of what is happening in this country. Paristhiti eno? What is going on in this country? In fact, when you look at him like a karma yogi, he looks like a greatest management person that I can ever think of. Because such an assessment of reality, such an assessment of what is happening in the society, different sects of people fighting, karma kandanalli attundu idu asakti, jnana kandanalli asakti illa. People thought rituals are far more important, Upanishads and Jnanas are less important. You had Kapalikas who are doing all kinds of witchcraft. Jains and Buddhists were fighting and cancelling out. So the first round that he went through the length and breadth of the country used to understand Yataraha Parihara illi madbeku anta. What is it that we have to do here? Somebody has to make an assessment. If you have to do a good job, first you have to assess it. He may be a great entrepreneur. Like that. You have to assess what is the situation. The first round was that. The second round was to gain credibility among people. If I just come and say something, people are not going to listen. You have to establish yourself among the best people. The pinnacle of that credibility that he gained was winning the argument with Mandana Mishra, who became Shankaracharya. Gaining that credibility among the people is very important before whatever you can do in life. Otherwise we will be just wasting our time. And such a young person, 32 is what age is 32 when he finally had the Mahasamadhi. All these must have happened at the age of 18 and 20. Think about this possibility. So he established credibility. He went to Kashi, he went to Ujjain, he went to Gujarat, he went to several places in Andhra, he went to Orissa, he went to Magadha, he went to Pataliputra, Sarvatra. And he won everybody. He went to Kashmir. Sarvajna Pita Arohana, how did it happen? He won there are 4 doors. In every door he was confronted with a set of people. First door he was confronted with, by the Nayayikas. Second door he was confronted with, yoga and, Sankhyas. Then Purva Mimamsa. He won all of them and then did the Pita Arohana of Sarvajna Pita in Sharada Pita in Kashmir. So the second round was to establish a credibility so that whatever he says, people are going to actually take it serious. Otherwise nobody is going to take it serious. It will be a waste of time. And what is the third round? The third round, he was sparkling like a management person. He created an order for establishing a spiritual institution which will live even after 1500 years. He organized all these religious and spiritual seekers. He introduced a Dashanami system. He created 10 names. Puri, Bharati, Saraswati, Parva. Like that, there are 10 names he created. Yeah, he said, this group of people, you will have this name. That's why in Sringeri you will have, Tirtha and Bharati. In some other Pita you will have Saraswati. Like that, he organized these entire warring groups, brought them under one, put them into a nice structure. He administered, created 4 mutts at the 4 corners of this country, established methods by which this knowledge has to be propagated. Who can do all these? Are you telling me all these are not serious work? This is the lens of karma from which we can see Shankaracharya. He was relentlessly walking up and down, organizing people, creating. Then Shanmataka Stapaka. He took all these 5 forms of worship: Shaivam, Shakti, Vaishnavam, Ganapatyam, Kaumaram, Adityam. He took all the 6 and organized it so well. He created a structure by which we can pursue our own personal goals through a lens of religion and spirituality. Phenomenal amount of work. This is the karma lens of Shankaracharya. And this is what a sannyasi has done. And I doubt whether a modern management person will have so much energy, so much vision, so much direction, and so much perseverance and all that to do. This is what he has done into all these, sustain it. And finally, he also created a very vast body of knowledge. Not ordinary, very vast body of knowledge. Knowledge which will cater to every section of the society. So that is what I want to actually talk about. So let us talk about the second lens, which is the repository of knowledge. Now we can look at Shankaracharya from a lens of knowledge that he created. The jnana aspect of Shankaracharya. In fact, in 1920, Vanivilas Press, under the guidance of Sachidananda Siva Nrsimha Bharati Swamigal, I think first time they organized all Shankara's works, 6,600 printed pages in Sanskrit. That is Shankara's work. I mean, the entire thing is available as an archive now. We can download the entire 6,600 pages. 6,600 printed pages in between, walking through the length and breadth of the country 3 times by walk. Doing all these, in between he was also able to create 6,600 pages of material. Astonishing piece of knowledge. This is by no small means something which people can think of. Now what is this knowledge at the end of the day? If I have to put in one sentence, if you put all this knowledge and tell me in one sentence, what is this knowledge that Shankaracharya created? Perhaps I will say that he very unambiguously established the importance of right knowledge about life. That is what he tried at the end of the day. Every one of us have to lead a life. Provided us very good ideas about what does it mean to have a very happy and a satisfied living. Nobody can afford to say that at the end of the fag end of my life, I should never say I am a defeated person. That is the biggest failure in my life. I should never do that. I should never feel I am a defeated person. That's not worth. I mean, I may say I made a lot of money, I did this or all that, but in the heart of my heart I feel defeated. That's not a good idea. That's not at all worth. The life is wasted. So his entire discussion in many forms finally pointed to that one idea. How do you become an evolved person in life? How do you become satisfied? That bliss and happiness, how can it be yours? This is basically what he attempted. Now, this cannot be said in one way. Why? Because people are different. You can't say the same way. I may like a very intellectual discussion, so you can tell me something intellectual. Somebody like art form, tell it in the art form. Somebody likes bhakti, tell it in the bhakti form. Somebody likes action, tell it in the karma form. So his entire literature spans this end to end. So anybody can pick. So we don't have to read the entire literature. Depending upon our prakriti, depending upon our swabhava, we will be able to find something in Shankaracharya. We can start there. We can take that, and then understanding Shankaracharya will develop high thinking in us. See, we are very different from animals. Today we are actually competing with animals. God has created this humankind which is very different from animals. Because the most important difference is animals are guided only by instinct. If there is hunger, it cannot do anything, it has to pray. If there is no hunger, its greatest enemy will be by its side, it will not even touch it. It will not say, this fellow will not be available later, let me kill him and put it in the fridge. The animal does not know that. Man is given that power of thinking. The power of thinking is given to us because we have to evolve. Not to, put it in a locker and then don't use it, sit in front of the TV and all the time, surrender ourselves helplessly. The indriyas are surrendered to the idiot box. That is not what God has created human being as. There is a larger purpose, there is a larger possibilities that we have, and Shankaracharya has shown through all his work that such a purpose can be fulfilled. And some of his works can actually help us. We have several questions in life. How to lead a very peaceful life? What is a reference framework for life? I have to carry on my life. What is my reference framework? How should I make sure that I lead a life? Shankaracharya wrote a Bhashya for Bhagavad Gita. He wrote a Bhashya for the Prasthanatrayas, the Dasha Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra. The first sentence in his Bhashya, he wrote a 10th sentence introduction. Before he wrote shloka by shloka commentaries and all that, he wrote about 10 sentences. Preamble. Yake nanu idu ee bhashyana barita idene anta he has written about 10 lines. I will read only the first line. Because when I read the first line, my mind immediately went to today. Because this line is so striking to what is happening today. So he says like this: Dvivido hi vedokto dharma. In Veda, there are two types of dharma being told. Dvividokto vidohi vedokto dharma. Pravritti lakshano nivritti lakshanascha. Jagataha stitihi karanam sakshat praninam abhyudaya nishreyasa hetuhu. This is how he starts the first sentence. What he says is, in the Veda, so-called Veda, there are two types of dharmas which are being told. One dharma is for pravritti. Pravritti means we have to work, we have to earn, we have to have 3 times food, we should have a comfortable house. Who said we don't have to have all that? We should have a comfortable living, a little security we need in life. Adi Shankara knows that. That's called pravritti. And what is nivritti? You cannot waste all your time only on money and material things. You should ask who I am and I should evolve. There is a world inside. I should know what is the world inside and who am I. That is called nivritti dharma. So he says, in the Veda, there is a pravritti dharma and a nivritti dharma. And if somebody follows the pravritti dharma properly, you will get what is called abhyudaya. Praninam sakshat abhyudaya nishreyasa hetu. This is what will deliver you abhyudayas. Abhyudayas is materialism. I want comfort. I want food. All those are abhyudayas. And nishreyas. I want peace of mind. I want to be a very evolved person. I want to have larger goals in life other than the small little uta, tindi, atta and sleep. Beyond that. So he says these two are very important. And when I read this, my thought immediately went, the problem today, if you ask what is the problem today, we have actually dismissed nivritti dharma. In society today, everybody thinks pravritti dharma is all important, nothing else. The balance is lost. He says balance is Jagataha sthiti karanam. The stability of this universe depends critically on following both the dharmas. Today we are told nivritti after 60 years. How can you become spiritual after 60 years? You cannot retire today evening and tomorrow morning you get up full of spirituality. It will never work. It will never work for anybody. Don't waste your time. It should be imbibed from it is a value which we have to practice. That's what he is saying. So this sentence makes all the more meaning. He went on to say this has to be established. There is a little bit of out of balance. Therefore I want to write a commentary to bring this concept to the people more clearly. All those are making sense even today for us to think about. So this is the first thing. If you read his shlokas, there are varieties of shlokas. It all depends on what you want. What you want you will get. For example, reality of life. We are all in life. We have to make sense of what is life. We should know what life is really. Reality of life, 100 shlokas 200 shlokas will be there. One or two I want to say. Look at this shloka. Ayur nashyati pashyatam pratidinam yati kshayam yauvanam pratyayanti gata punarna divasaha kalo jagadbhakshakah lakshmi stoya taranga bhanga chapala vidyuchalam jeevitam tasman mam sharanagatam sharanada tvam raksha rakshadhuna. He brings a very important concept in life. Ayur nashyati pashyatam pratidinam. Every day your life is coming down. We are not growing, we are shrinking. If I live for 100 years, that means I am living for 36,500 days. Second day I was born, I live for 36,499 days. Third day from the day I am born, I am 36,488 days. So am I living or am I shrinking? You have to make a judgment. That's what he is saying. Ayur nashyati pashyatam pratidinam. Every day the life is shrinking. Pratyayanti gataha punarna divasaha. The days which are gone will never come back. Gone are gone. The days which are gone will never come back. Punarna divasaha. Kalo jagadbhakshakah. The biggest eater is Kala. That consumes everything. Then what he says, you see, Lakshmi stoya taranga banga chapala. The wave in the ocean, toya taranga, the wave in the ocean will break just like that. Wave will come, it will break. He says Lakshmi is like that. Chapala. The wealth behind which we are putting so much importance can just like that go. We don't know. Sometimes just like that goes. Lakshmi stoya taranga banga chapala. Then he says Vidyuchalam jeevitam. Life for every one of us goes like a strike of a lightning. Finally life goes only like that. It doesn't tell you tomorrow, day after tomorrow, evening 5 o'clock, all that nobody is told. Some great jnanis may know for themselves, but they don't say also. Vidyuchalam jeevitam. So this is the reality of life. We have to contemplate his shlokas, because the shlokas are not scary. Don't get scared. It makes you wiser. Oh, this is what life is. Therefore, we have to put whatever importance we can put to these matters. That's all he is saying. He is not saying leave all of them and go away. He is not at all saying that. Put value to the extent of how much you should value. Don't overvalue it. Don't undervalue it also. Don't do udasina. That is what he is saying in this shloka. Bhajagovindam, these 33 shlokas are full of reality of life. Every shloka you can take. Nobody can picture the life any better than that. Look at the first shloka. Mooda jahihi danagama trishnam kurusad buddhim manasi vitrishnam yel labase nija karmopatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. Look at what he is saying. He says Mooda. In fact, Adi Shankara uses the word Mooda only in a few places. In his entire 6,600 pages, only in a few places he has used the word Mooda. In Bhajagovindam he has used it twice. Reason is, when people say Mooda, the word Mooda, Tata means son or father. These are emotional words. They are not bad words. When you are very emotional, you use these words. So he is so concerned, people are so ignorant. That's why he says Mooda jahihi. Ayyo papa nimge gottillalva ee vishaya ni bidbite. Ekandre the old man was reading grammar. Nahi rakshati dugrinj karane is what he said. Dugrinj karane anta dhatu pata. He was reading the dhatu pata. He asked him, why are you reading? He said, I now know that I have to know all these. He said, don't do all that. So he had that emotion. That's why he used Mooda 2 times in Bhagavad Gita. He says Mooda jahihi dana agama trishna. See, the word trishna is a very interesting word. Trishna andre, see, pipasa andre thirst. Bubuksha andre Sanskrit pada. Bubuksha andre hunger. See, this pipasa, bubuksha and all, when you are hungry, how much can you eat? 4 idlis, very hungry, 6 idlis, maybe 12 idlis. You can't go beyond that. You have to put a stop. Pipasa, I am thirsty. How much water can you drink? 1 liter, 2 liter? Not more than that. It will come to a stop. Trishna is not like that. The word Trishna means, ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಹುತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಲ್ಲ ಅದು. That is the word Trishna. So he say, that is the word he is using. He says, don't get into this get locked into this. It will be a problem. Don't do that. Yellabase nija karmopatam. What you get, try to live with that. This is a problem with a lot of people. They have missed this possibility. They have missed this reality of life and then moment you start catching, instead of walking on the floor, you get into trouble. In fact, that's why in Charaka Samhita, our definition of health is so nice. Swasthya is health. Our definition in Charaka is swasmin sthane, swasmin karmani, sthiyate iti swastham. You be yourself. That is called healthy. Swasmin sthane, swasmin karmani, ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕೋ ಅದೇ ಮಾಡು. ಇದು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಕೆಟ್ಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಥರ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಸ್ವಸ್ಮಿನ್ ಸ್ಥಾನೆ ಸ್ವಸ್ಮಿನ್ ಕರ್ಮಣಿ ಸ್ಥೀಯತೆ. ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಹಿಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ ಎಲ್ಸ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸಂಬಡಿ ಎಲ್ಸ್, ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್. ಆ ಥರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ಇವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಯಾಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕಾಸ್. ಭಜಗೋವಿಂದ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಈ ತರ ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳು. ಇನ್ನು ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು. ವಯಸ್ಸಿ ಗತೆ ಕಾಮ ವಿಕಾರ, ಶುಷ್ಕೆ ನೀರೇ ಕಹ ಕಾಸಾರ, ಕ್ಷೀಣೆ ವಿತ್ತೆ ಕಹ ಪರಿವಾರ, ಜ್ಞಾತ್ವೇ ತತ್ವೇ ಕಹ ಸಂಸಾರ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಮನಿ. Once you are retired, this most powerful person who was the foreign secretary or the highest IAS officer, after he is retired, everything comes down, including his ego. He will become a temple president, something, local committee chairman. Everything has to come down. This is the reality of life. Adi Shankaracharya is saying. He is saying, kshine vitte kaha parivara. If you have stopped earning, if your source of income has come down, people will all go away from you, is what he is saying. They are hard realities. Lots of hard realities he points to. Why is he pointing to all that? He wants us to think about it, so that we become wiser. He has nowhere said don't do this, don't do that. He is saying this is the reality, appa. Not kolli ninu. This is the reality. Now it is up to you. See, this is our culture. Our culture is like this. Bhagavad Gita nalli 700 shlokas. 683 shlokas ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ, after 600 more than that, I think 688 shlokas or something ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ, Krishna finally says, Vimrshya yat karanam karotu. That's the shloka there. He says, I have said so much, you decide what you want. We never have the culture of pushing something down the throat. He said, you decide what you want to do and do. After 688 shlokas, he said, choice is yours, but I will say everything. So our paddhati is like that. So he is also pointing us to all that. Shankaracharya had a great sense of societal thinking. He had lots of ideas of how do you look at society and the importance of society and so on. Couple of shlokas. Look at this particular shloka in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhajagovindam. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. There are 4 instructions. He gives, how do I lead a life? He gives 4 simple answers. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram, Deyam Shripati Rupam Ajasram, Deyam Dina Janaya Chavittam. Look at the third. Deyam Dina Janaya Chavittam, Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam. So he says, do only 4 things for him. Simple. Life is very simple. Do 4 things. First thing is Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗೀತಾ ಸಹಸ್ರನಾಮ ಓದು ಪ್ರತಿ ದಿವಸ, because it will shape your thinking. We don't have to know the meaning. God will bless us with what it is. We don't have to worry about meaning at all. We can read Gita and Sahasranama every day, whatever we can. It will transform us magically. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಅದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Our thinking will change. Our ಸಂಸ್ಕಾರ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಶುದ್ಧ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. So Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram, Deyam Shripati Rupam Ajasram. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡು. Because that half an hour dhyana in the puja room, closing our eyes, because mind is the biggest thing. Uddaret atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet atmaiva bandhuhu atmanam atmaiva puratmanah. Your mind is your enemy or mind is your friend unless you control your mind. How do I control your mind? He says ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡು. And day one we don't have to ask, modern thinking says 30 days what will happen? Is it a 30-day program or a 60-day program? How much progress will I make? ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಬೇಡ. ಪ್ರತಿ ದಿವಸ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡು, ಮೈಂಡ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಧ್ಯೇಯಂ ಶ್ರೀಪತಿ ರೂಪಮಜಸ್ರಂ, ನೇಯಂ ಸಜ್ಜನ ಸಂಗೇ ಚಿತ್ತಂ. ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್. ನಾವು ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಡೂ ಬೋತ್ ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಲೈನ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಲಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಘ ಸತ್ಸಂಗ ಆಗತ್ತೆ. In Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya says, Durlabham trayi etat. There are three things which are very, very difficult. Daiva anugraha hetukam. This will happen only if you have Bhagavad Kataksha. And what are those? He says, Manushyatvam. Namukad bandide. Mumukshatvam Mahapurusha Samshraya. We have so many people have come today. We have got 2-3 out of this. So the satsanga is very important. Satsangatve nisangatvam Bhajagovindavali ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಕೂಡ. Satsangatve nisangatvam. So that's why he says that. Deyam Dina Janayacha Vittam. This country had a great culture that we cannot partake our wealth, ourselves alone. It is not possible. Yajna Bhava is very important. Everything we have, we must give and partake. Deyam Dina Janayacha Vittam. This is the greatness of this country. This will never go. You may see in cities a little bit it has come down. Go to villages and see. This is the strength. Citinalli ide. We have a culture of taking care of have-nots. Haves must take care of have-nots. Adhe helta idare. So this is a high thinking, societal thinking that help others. Otherwise, we will not go forward. What to ask for in life? ಅವರು ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು 70+ ಸ್ತೋತ್ರಗಳು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯ ಭುಜಂಗ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಓದಿದ್ರು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಶ್ಲೋಕ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯ ಭುಜಂಗ 33 ಶ್ಲೋಕ. ಭುಜಂಗ is such a nice utterance of this thing. If you look at Shankaracharya's stotras, I found something striking in that. And what is that? I will tell you a small story. There was a great prince, very famous king. He went for hunting into the forest. Somewhere he got lost. In the thick of the forest, he didn't know how to come out. So there was one hunter deep in the forest who helped him. He really took him out and finally left him back into the city side, east side. So he said to that hunter, I am the king of this, I am the king. You come and see me tomorrow. Because the king was very happy, he wanted to really give him some gift. So he hunter sari anta helbittu mane bandidru avanu. So he told his wife, I helped somebody and then found a way for him. He happens to be the king of our country. He has asked me to come tomorrow. I am going tomorrow. Next day he went to the courtyard. He was brought in. The king asked, tell me what you want. So this fellow thought for a while and he said, I want 1 kg of rice and 2 kilograms of vegetables. Ashte avar manasalli ittu. He didn't know what to ask. He asked chota mota things. In fact, this is the problem with many of us unwittingly. Gurukula hatra hogi nange promotion beku, nange idu transfer beku, nange adu these are all like asking vegetables and rice and so on. Shankaracharya's shloka, if you see, he tells what to ask. He has told us what to ask. 2-3 ಶ್ಲೋಕ ನಾನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಸುಬ್ರಹ್ಮಣ್ಯ ಭುಜಂಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಇದು. ಅಹಂ ಸರ್ವದಾ ದುಃಖ ಭಾರಾವಸನ್ನಃ. You said that. ಅಹಂ ಸರ್ವದಾ ದುಃಖ ಭಾರಾವಸನ್ನಃ ಭವಾನ್ ದೀನ ಬಂಧು ಸ್ತೋದನ್ಯಂ ನ ಯಾಚೆ. ಭವದ್ಭಕ್ತಿರೋಧಂ ಸದಾ ಕ್ಲುಪ್ತಪಾದಂ ಮಮಾದಿರ್ ಧೃತಂ ನಾಶಯೋ ಮಾಸು ತತ್ವಂ. This is one shloka. It's a 24 apasmara kushtakshayarcha brahma. This is shloka before that, 24th shloka. Look at what he is saying. He is saying, aham sarvada dukkha bharo vasannaha. I have a lot of dukkha in my life. This is a much higher problem. The other questions they are asking are only, item 1, 2, 3. This is the heading. Now we are talking about the heading. These are all the individual items. He is talking about the heading now. He is saying, sarvada dukkha bhara vasannaha. I am like that. And who are you? You are Bhavan Dina Bandhu. You are Dina Bandhu. Todanyam Nayache. I cannot ask anybody other than you. Because you are Dina Bandhu. Now what he is asking? He is saying, Bhavad Bhakti Rodham. I want to make uninterrupted bhakti for you. That is being prevented. Rodham is prevent. The uninterrupted bhakti is not happening. There are 100 things which are stopping me. Sada Klupta Badam. Something or other keep on distracting me. I am not able to show my pure bhakti to you. You please restore that to me. Because Shankaracharya knows if you get it, all other things will come. So this is what that hunter missed. The hunter could have easily said, give me half the kingdom. Hunter could have said, you give me, one pot of gold. He could have asked anything like that. He asked for a kilogram of rice and a kilogram of vegetable. So in all his shlokas, you see this bhava. He never says, give me money, give me health. He never says, give me health. Nowhere in his shlokas. He says, take me out of my grief. That means health will automatically become better. Because one source of grief, maybe my health is not good. So he is going to a much higher level. This is a very characteristic way. Look at here in Shivananda Lagari, there is one shloka. He says, Ma gaccha tvam itastato girishame mayyeva vasam kuru swamin adi kirata mamakamana kantara simantare vartante bahushah mriga madajusho matsarya mohadayah tan hatva mrigaya vinoda ruchita labam cha samprapsyasi. He says, Shivananda Lagari is such a beautiful shloka, set of 100 shlokas. There is a lot of double meaning in every shloka. Here he looks at Shiva as Kirata, hunter. For Arjuna Pashupata he came like a hunter, na? Kirata Arjunia. So he says Adi Kirata. He says, you are a great hunter, I will provide you some hunting ground. That's what he's saying in this shloka. And what is this hunting ground? He says, Magacha itastata, don't waste your time. Hunter has to look for a hunting place. Na? He says, I have relieved you of that, don't do all that. Magacha itastata, mayeva vasam kuru. There is a hunting ground here, you come here. Why it is a hunting ground? He says, Vartante bahushaha. All kinds of animals are there. What kind of animals? He says, Moha. There are many things he says. Vartante bahushaha mriga madajushaha. Mada. Matsarya. Okay? You have Matsarya, Mohadaya. Adaya means ... He has not completed the list, he has put a dot. He says, so many are there. Why are you wasting your time going around? You come here, you hunt all of them, which is, I will become purified. See the way he is asking for, look at his prayers. He says, hunt all these bad things. You are after all a hunter. You came and gave, Pashupata Astra. Come here as a hunter. I have a hunting ground. Don't waste your time. Come here and then take all these animals and go. Look at the grandeur of his suggestions of what to ask in life. In fact, there is a Devi Aparata Kshamapana Stotra. The last shloka in that is such a beautiful. The shlokas are so beautiful. Devi Aparata Kuputro Jayeta Kochita Vikumata Na Bhavati. He says there may be a bad boy, there can never be a bad mother. That's how he knows how to ask Devi. With Vatsalya, he was generating Vatsalya from the Devi. The shlokas are very nice. Kuputro Jayeta Kochita Vikumata Na Bhavati. First 3 stanzas will end like that. Then he says, Bhavani Tot Panigraha Paripati Palamitam. Somewhere he says, what is Shiva? He is all with this thing in his hand, going in the Mayana and all that. Suddenly he become Bhajati Jagati Shaika Padavim. Suddenly he thinks he is Lord of the world. Why? Bhavani Tot Panigrahana Paripati Palamitam. Our Nimkai our Tondara Adike. So he is a very interesting shloka. Last shloka in that he says, Matsamaha Pataki Nasti. You cannot find a worst fellow than me. Matsamaha pataki nasti papagni tossama nahi. One who quench all this fire with which you can quench all the agni, you are the greatest person. Evam nyatva mahadevi yata yogyam tata kuru. He says, I don't even want to ask. You are the greatest person in quenching all these things. You find out what is given, I leave the responsibility to you. Many of his shlokas are like that. So he is only suggesting to us that I think our approach to life is asking for permanent happiness. Larger things in which all these smaller things are anyway included. If you ask for that, all these are automatically included. So that is what you find in many of his shlokas. Then Shankaracharya's greatest contribution is, although these are a bigger contribution, his biggest contribution is, he is an embodiment of high thinking. Jivana, Mauligalu. What are all these ideas in life? What is our lakshya? Where should we go in life? Visheshವಾಗಿ. There are thousands and thousands of shlokas which we can actually get these ideas. I will take one shloka from Manisha Panchaka. Manisha Panchaka is such a beautiful shloka. And it says, if these ideas are there in somebody, Chandalostu, Sahu Dvijostu, Guru Rityesha Manisha Mama. He says, I don't bother who he is. The external appearances are not important to me. I will evaluate people who has these ideas. Beautiful 5 shlokas. High thinking shlokas. So this is the first shloka in Manisha Panchakam. I just want to share this with you. Jagrat Swapna Sushuptisu Sputatara Ya Sambrid Ujrumbate. Jagrat Swapna Sushupti. We are in Jagrat. All the Stula Sharira is there, Sukshma Sharira is there, Karna Sharira is there. We are very active. Swapna. In Swapna, our Stula Sharira is dead. Stula Sharira is not working. In Swapna only you are running. In Swapna you are talking, in Swapna you are catching a bus, everything, your hand is not working. The Stula Sharira is dead. Sukshma Sharira is fully active. That is Swapna. Now when you get into Sushupti, even Buddhi, Manas, Chitta, Ahankara, Karmendra, Jnanendriya, everything is gone. Adike, when we get up, we say, I had a good sleep. Because everything is dull and dead. Everything is dead. Sukshma Sharira hogitu, Stula Sharira hogitu, Karna Sharira uchur adu kuda illa alli. There is no trace of that. He says, that, but you got up and said, I slept. Where is this I? You are not there. Everything is gone. Where are you? But still there was one I which was common to all these. So he says that person who knows that there is one I which is common to all these 3. Ade adu Purusha. The Prakriti olagade iruvodu Purusha adu. Ade adu Jivatma. The person who knows this I which is in all these 3 states of our existence. Ade first sentence. Jagrat Swapna Sushuptisu Sputatara Ya Sambit Ujrumbate. After the sleep you get up as usual. Very normal. Everything comes back and attaches to you. Okay? Ya Brahmati Pipilikanta Tanushuhu Prota Jagat Sakshini. From the smallest ant up to Brahma. In all these bodies there is only one common God particle. One common God particle. And that is the Jagat Sakshini. That is the reference, that is why this Jagat is there. Ee taraha Drishti yarko idiyo. This is the second sentence. Those who have this kind of a perspective in life. Then third, Saivaham, I am that person. Which person? Who is there in all the 3 states of my existence? Who is there from the elephant, from the ant up to the Brahma? In all these there is the common thread. I am that common thread. Sahaevaham. Saivaham. Na drishya vastu, not what I see through my eyes. That is not what I am. I am something inside that. Drida prajnapi asyasti ched. Aa taraha one drida prajna irubohudu. Unshaken belief, unshaken understanding that this is what it is. If there is a person like that, then he says, Chandalostu, Sachu Dvijostu, Guruhu iti esha manisha mama. Doesn't matter who he is. If there is a person like that, he is my guru. This is my thought. Manisha means thought. So this is the kind of, thinking he has. Vyavahara is one, Paramarthika is another. See, in Vyavaharali, no differences irubohudu. That is for the purpose of Vyavahara. See, you can't say the whole world is same. And therefore, you cannot say, bring 1 kilogram of stone, I'll cook breakfast. You can't say that. Because eating breakfast is Vyavahara. Adila beda irbohudu. Stone is different from rice, is different from tomato, is different from wheat. You can't say, now I have reached the pinnacle of samatva, therefore bring me stone, I will make my breakfast. You can never say. But in Paramarthika you should have the oneness. So all these thoughts are that we should have a duality in us. One is Paramarthika, one is Vyavaharika. For the Vyavahara, whatever needs to be done, you do. But in Paramarthika, develop this oneness. That is what this shloka is saying. It is such a high thinking that he has. In fact, there is one famous Ekashloki. Some of his thoughts are so piercing, so powerful. It makes you think for a long time. There is one Ekashloki. That's the shortest shloka. Actually, the shloka is a set of questions and answers. It's not really a shloka. One person came and asked him, I want to know what is this Brahman and who am I? What is this Brahman and who am I? This is the kind of question one person, old person came and asked him. There was only Ekashloki. The whole thing is there. So I will do a Padacheda and explain this question answer as it goes. First is Kim Jyotihi Tava. So Shankaracharya asked him, what is the source of light for you? Kim Jyotihi Tava. What is the source of light for you? Then he says, Banuman Ahani. In the daytime it is sun. Sun is the source of light. Banuman Ahani. During daytime, Banu. Ratro? How about Ratri? Because sun is not there in the night. Then he says, Pradipadikam Syat. Pradipadikam. There are a lot of luminaries, shining Deepa. You can put oil and then lamp it also. Syadevam. Okay, let it be so. Second line started in the Ekashloki. Syadevam. Let it be so. Then he goes, Ravi Deepa Darshanayoho. How are you able to see the sun and the Deepa? Where is the source of light for it? See, simple science says, if there is no light, you cannot see anything. It is a science. Is it not? If there is no light, you cannot see. When light is thrown on an object only, you are able to see. Right? So he says, how are you able to see sun and this Deepa and all that? How are you? What is this idea of seeing when you say seeing? That is what he asked. He says, Ravi Deepa Darshana Vidau Kim Jyotihi Akyahime. What is this source of light with which you are able to even see the sun and the Deepa and all that? Then he says, Chakshuhu, my eyes. This is the source of light for me. That's what he says, Chakshuhu. Then Adi Shankara asks, Tasya Nimilanadi Samaye? If you close your eyes, what will happen? Is the next question he asks. Because you see a lot of Swapna. In fact, when you see Swapna, you may have, -2. You don't need the glass in Swapna. For your, normal world, you need the glass. In Swapna, you can remove the glass, you will see much better. So Shankaracharya asks, you closed your eyes, you saw. Tell me, how did you see? So far, everything is fine. Now you have closed your eye. When you have closed your eye, which is Swapna, how are you able to see? That's the next question he asked. Nimilina Samaye? Sakshuhu Nimilina Samaye? Kim? Then he says, Kim Dihi? What is your this thing? Kim? Then he says, Dihi. My buddhi, my intellect. My intellect is supplying the source of light for my eye. Okay? Diyoho? How do you get a source of supply for your buddhi? How is your intellect getting the source of light? That is the next question he asked. Diyoho darshane kim? Then this bold man said, Tatra aham ato. I am the source for that buddhi. Finally, this argument went on like that. He said, finally the old man said, I am the source. So he used the I, quote within quotes I. Now Shankara said, that I is what you ask, you go and check what it is. So that's how the shloka ends. He says, Bhavan paramekam jyotihi tadasmi prabho. So the old man understood it. Tadasmi prabho. He finally understood what the issue is. So this one shloka we have to actually contemplate and think. It looks like a very jovial thing, but it brings a very profound concept. You can ask, what is the source of light? You can go on asking the source. Not light, you ask anything. You can ask, what is the source of knowledge? You may say teacher, you may say book, you may say something. Finally you will say, it is my buddhi. You will say, what is the source of buddhi? Everything will come to I finally. So that Atma Vichara is what he is talking about. So his entire body of knowledge is full of this kind of third dimension. So these 6,600 pages which have been printed consists of, he wrote Bhashyas for 12 Upanishads. 10 Upanishads which are the major Upanishads, then Narasimha Tapaniya Upanishad, then I think Svetashwara Upanishad or Kaivalya Upanishad, one of that he wrote. 12 Upanishads he wrote Bhashyas. He wrote Bhashya for Vishnu Sahasranama. He wrote Bhashya for Lalita Trishati. He wrote Bhashya for Sanat Sujatiya. Very interesting episode before the war. Sanat Sujata comes to the court of Dhritarashtra. Immediately after Vidura Niti you have Sanat Sujatiya. Sanat Sujata coming. That's a very high thinking discussion between Dhritarashtra and Sanat Sujata. He has written a commentary for it. And he has also written a commentary for another work called, Hastamalakiya. So this is a Bhashyakara. Brahma Sutra also he has written. Bhagavad Gita. He has written Prakarana Granthas, these high thinking Granthas. Prakriyas or Prakarana Granthas, which are all high thinking. What is my goal in life? Who am I? What should I ultimately do in life? Those kinds of things he wrote, about 25 of them he wrote. Then Stotras, because he traveled so widely in the countries, so he had Stotra, about all God and goddesses, on Narmada, on Ganga, on Yamuna, Kashi Panchakam, Yeti Panchakam, you name anything. But in all the Stotras, he taught us what to ask in life, as I was showing a few examples. So, then the last part a little bit I want to talk about is Adi Shankaracharya is also a great embodiment of bhakti. See, there is this popular misbelief again that Adi Shankaracharya is a very intellectual sort of a person. It's all about this Advaita and this high thinking and all that, like that they think. He has done wonderfully on the dimension of bhakti also. In fact, in his magnum opus, which is Viveka Chudamani, he says, Moksha Samagriyam Bhaktireva Gariyasi. That's what he said. The raw material, the best way to reach moksha is bhakti. He is saying it. Moksha Samagriyam Bhaktireva Gariyasi is what he said. His bhakti text, again, if there is one text we have to look at, which is according to me a magnum opus on bhakti, is Shivananda Lagari. Your heart will melt. If you can understand the 100 shlokas properly, if you can really understand it, it is a very high, exposition of bhakti. 2 shlokas or 3 shlokas from Shivananda Lagari I just want to. In 61st shloka, he actually defines bhakti. Ankolam nijabija santitihi ayaskantopalam suchika sadvi naija vibhum latakshitiruham sindhu saridvallabham prapnoti hayata tata pashupatehe padaravindadvayam cheto vitti rupetya tishtati sa bhakti uchyate. He defined this is called bhakti. He gave 5 examples, beautiful examples. He says, Ankolam nijabija santatihi. There is one Ankola tree. In Western Ghats it is there. In Ankola tree, the seeds fall. When the seeds fall, the seeds will travel towards the tree. The tree's trunk will be full of seeds. So Ankolam nijabija santatihi is first step in bhakti. What does it mean? You have to go towards the God. The God will not come. The tree cannot move to the seed, only the seed can move to the tree. That is the first example. But if you put one step, in Bhagavatam you will see it so well. You put one step, God will put 10 steps for you. That's why he says, Ayaskanto palam suchika. Magnet can be moved to the needle, needle can be moved to the magnet. Either ways it will attract. So, the melting has started. So that's why he said, Ayaskanto palam suchika. Then he says, Sadvim naija vibhum. This pati and patni is such a paraspara, there's a dependence which is the 3rd level of bhakti. The two must become one slowly. True bhakti must get into an aikya anusandhana. It should take us there, sadvi naija vibhum. That's the 3rd example he gives. Then he says, latakshitiruham. The creeper has such a level of dependency on the stick on which it has to. So, it is a prapati. It is surrender. It is getting to that level of surrender. This is the last, 4th. Then he says, Sindhuhu Saridvallabham. Finally, you have to merge. It is complete, formless, nameless merger. That is what happens to the greatest river in the world. It will merge in the ocean. And because it is merging in the ocean will come 20 kilometers inside and receive the river. That's called backwaters. So bhakti will go to that level finally. The God will come and then take you. You don't have to worry because it has gone to such a level. So Sindhuhu Saridvallabham. He gives that example. He says these are the 5 stages. Apara Bhakti and Para Bhakti, Madhyama Bhakti, Adhama Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. Everything is presented here. When you go to that level, cheto vitti upetya, in your thought process, every chromosome in you must be bubbling in the bhakti on that Narayana or Shiva or Kaumara or Shakti or whatever it is. You should bubble in that. He says, Sa bhakti rit uchyate. That is the definition he gave. There are a couple of very nice slokas. The entire 100 slokas are bhakti. Just 2 slokas I will just... There is a nice sloka which says, Gabire kasare vishati vijane ghora vipine vishale shaile cha brahmati kusumartam jatamatihi samarpyaikam cheta sarasijam umanata bhavate sukena vastatum jana iha na janati kimaho. What a surprise! Kimaho! What a surprise! Jana iha na janati. People don't even know this. This is how he ends the shloka. What does he doesn't know? He says, Gabire kasare, they go all over to the deep, places to fetch a flower. Vishati vijane ghora vipine. In the deep forest they go in search of a flower. Vishale shaile cha brahmati. They are doing, going loitering all over the place to pluck the flowers. All that he says, all that they are doing, Chetas sarasijam umanata bhavate, there is one lotus you have in your heart. You don't know to offer it to the God? Alas, people don't even know this simple idea. That's how he says. He says, Chetas sarasijam umanata bhavate, sukena avastatum. Aram se, Chetas saraja avaratara kodbittu namu aram se irbodu. Adu gotillalva. Kimaho. Jana iha na janati kimaho. So that is what he says in the shloka. That is the bhava of bhakti. A bhakti grantha will bring bhava. Bhakti is all bhava. Bhakti is not language. Bhakti is not intellect. Bhakti is not Sanskrit or Hindu, English or Kannada. Bhakti is bhava. So these shlokas bring those bhava. One more shloka you just see. Karaste he, beautiful shloka. Karaste he madrau girisha nikataste dhanapato grihaste swarbuja amara surabi chintamani gane shiraste shitamshau charana yugalaste akila shubhe kamartam dasyeham bhavatu bhavatartam mama manah. This bhakta says, what can I give to the God? He starts, Shankaracharya is thinking, what should I give to the God? See, you have to give me what I don't have, otherwise I don't relish it. If you have, already a few mobiles, if I give you a mobile, you just throw it. It has no value for you. So he started thinking, what does he have? Let me enumerate what he has. What he finds is, Karaste Hemadrav. He has the golden deer in his hand. See, when he did a Tripura Samhara, right? Hema Adrav. This is the golden mountain. When he did the Tripura Samhara, the Meru was in his hand and he actually did the Tripura Samhara. So the golden, hill, the hillock is in his hand. So I can't give him gold and those kinds of things. It's of no use for him. Because he has Hema Adri with him. Karaste Hema Adrav Girisha. Nikataste Dhanapato. His close companion is Dhananam Pati, Kubera. So that takes away all my material benefits that I can give him. He is his close companion, so I can't give him anything now. That is also ruled out. Grihaste, at least let me give something in his house. Grihaste, in his house, what is there? He says, Chintamani. He says he has a certain kind of wealth which is unparalleled. So I can't even give that. So he says, and Shiraste. In his Shiras, Shitamso, the Chandrakala is there, which makes beauty to him, and then it's a very cool thing in his head, Shitamshaha. So that also I can't give anything for Alankara also. That also is not possible. I can give. Charana Yugalaste. The Akila Shubhe, the whole welfare of the world is under his feet now. So what else can I give him? He says, Bhavatu. I can't give all these, but there is something which he doesn't have, I know. What is that? Mama manaha. Bhavatu bhavadartam mama manaha. This is the biggest thing that can happen to us. If we can offer our manas to God, most of our problems are solved. You see how beautifully that bhava comes. I think that is the bhava of a bhakti grantha. 100 shlokas are out and out like this. So Adi Shankaracharya is also a great exponent of bhakti. So what is it? It's already an hour. I want to stop. We will have to close down. So what is it that we need to really understand from all this? All that we have to understand is Adi Shankaracharya, by his action, by his living, by his things that he has done and shown to the mankind, he has said a very important thing. The pinnacle of perfection in life, to reach perfection in life, we need karma. We should be a karma yogi. He was as industrious as a person you can ever think of. Doing all these within the age of 32. Karma is we should be a karma yogi. That is the first dimension he has told. We should be a jnana yogi and we should be a bhakti, and jnana must coexist. Bhakti without jnana is of no use. Jnana with bhakti is also no use. Head and heart must go together. Bhakti will melt the heart. Jnana will shine the head. And the combination of that is the only combination which will take us from the samsara sagra. So that is what he has shown, that bhakti and jnana are very, very important, and before that we should be a karma yogi. Chitta Shuddha Agvaitu. Karma yoga does nothing but it merely makes the chitta shuddhi. That is the first step in our evolution in life. So this is what he actually brings through his entire teaching. So one can keep on going and going and going, because 6,600 pages of thought, how can we talk about it in an hour? That is not going to happen. I would only start with this shloka, because all these 1 hour, where will it lead us? In Swarnalagiri he says even an answer for that. He says, Sarupyam tava pujane Shiva Mahadeveti Sankirtane Samipyam Shiva Bhakti Dhurya Janata Sangatya Sambhashane Salokyam Cha Characharatmakatanu Dhyane Bhavani Pate Sayujyam Mama Siddham Atra Bhavatu Kritatyosmyaham. See, we need 4 things. We need sarupyam. We need sarupyam, samipyam, salokyam. That will take us to sayujyam. So he says, how will you get all that? Do puja. Talk about some of the greatest things about this divine force. There is this Lord above all of us. Whatever name you want to use. Different religions also use different names. Let it be there. There is a larger force which is beyond us. We should be able to think about it. And we should be able to contemplate about it. We should be able to relate it to our life. That is what we attempted in many ways thinking about Shankaracharya. He says, if you do all that, you will get Salokyam, Samipyam, Sarupyam, and then Sayujyam. I think that is what is the greatest benefit that we will get thinking about Shankaracharya. And on an auspicious occasion like this, on his Jayanti, Shankara Jayanti, especially in one of the important shaka of Sringeri Matha, to be here, there are 1,000 things that we could have done. All of us could have done 1,000 different things. We have so many things to do, but we all decided to come here. I think that itself is the greatest divine grace that has befallen on us already. Because this is the greatest thing that can happen. This thinking that we should think about greater things in life means God has led on the path. We are far, far ahead of a lot more people who are still trying to discover what is life. I think that is the greatest sayujya that we have been endowed. I think with these few words, let me also thank Sri Ramamurthy, who had been kind enough to invite me to come here. Let me thank all of you, because without you coming here, it will be very difficult for me to think of this opportunity of sharing my thoughts. And with all these few words, let me also pray. Let me pray to the Sarvajna. Let me pray for the grace of Lakshmi Narayana, the presiding deity of this place, and Sharada Mata, and the Acharyas. Let their grace befall on all of us and help us achieve the ultimate goal of life, which is one of lasting happiness. Thank you. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।